go. Ah! It's the wrong book. Hello everybody, welcome to Sleepin' Comics. It's been a big week here. As you can see, or if you've been a follower of mine on this channel, I got a new camera, so hopefully it looks much better. In addition, I was able to pick up this monster here. One that I've been looking forward to getting for a number of months. Personal grail of mine and of many people. I wanted to talk about the 5 different things I learned buying this comic. And as you can see from my intro, things don't always go as planned. Let's get to it. Okay, number 1, what did I learn? I think the first thing that I learned was that even though you see them being sold on eBay and other places, it's still a relatively rare comic. And so when I started my search about 6 months ago, I found out that even though I would message people online on eBay, for example, and they never got back to me. I started talking to people all over the country. I talked to people in Canada, Virginia, Texas, California. And the interesting thing is that everybody was helpful. Everybody was really interested in selling the comic, but once you got deeper, perhaps maybe one guy I remember I was talking to, every couple days he would change the price on me. So it became clear to me that I was probably going to have to talk to a well-known dealer or store. And so that's what I ended up doing. I'll talk a little bit later about who I ended up using. The other thing, of course, was that I think because even though on this channel I talk a lot about collecting what you like, and I do like Spider-Man. In this scenario, because the comic is so expensive, I think you do have to look at it from an investment perspective. And so as they always say, when you're buying a stock or anything like that, a lot of your money is made initially when you buy it. You want to buy the house or whatever it is at the best price you can get. And so I was thinking, okay, I have some experience in negotiation and other things, so perhaps I could get a deal. But in this particular comic, there really is no deals to be had. I mean, what I mean by that is that you're not going to get 50% off or even 25% off or anything like that, because everybody who owns this comic is as a savvy collector or dealer. They understand the market. They know that this movie or this show might be coming out soon that could spike the price. And in almost every element of the comic world, they're way more experienced than me and much smarter than I am. So that's not good or bad, but it's just something that I learned during the process. And so identifying that fair market value and then knowing that you might have to pay a little bit more than that, it's just part of the game, and I was willing to do that. A second thing that I learned, I think, was that I knew that I was going to need to talk to a lot of people and be flexible in the types of deals that were going to be on the table. And so I looked at all kinds of grades. I looked at 0.5s, I looked at 1.5s, I looked at 2s. I looked at a 4 that was raw, so raw, CBCS, CGC. I think each deal has its own merits, and you have to evaluate that and what you feel most comfortable with. And so, and you have to be patient. I was willing to, really take as much time as is needed. I'm under no pressure to buy anything. I think you can fabricate things in your head, and I've certainly done that before, but really trying to find the right deal and learn enough so I felt comfortable buying the comic. So that brings me to my third thing, which is, like I said, I talked to a number of people, and in the end, because it's an expensive comic, I wanted to just go with a reputable vendor or store, and I chose Elite Comics 11 on IG. And I have purchased from them before and really had a great experience. I also had them press my FF49, and they did a great job, and that was a great transaction. So working with them really made things easier. And it primarily is because it's not like you're signing a contract or anything like in business. I mean, you're basically sending money to a person and then praying that they're going to send you the comic. That works maybe when the comic is $25, but when it's a really expensive comic, you definitely get worried about it. And so having them, and they know all the different people that are consigning with them, makes it, way easier. And as you can see from the intro, when there was a mix-up, which the book that was sent was actually an FF1, and I had a heart attack. They were able to talk me through it. It was very easy, and it made me feel a lot more comfortable along the way. So I definitely recommend to use them again. Elite Comics 11, you can check them out on IG, like I said, if you have any questions for me, or I'm sure you can talk to them. But if you're buying they sell all kinds of books, but they definitely have some really big grails there. And from the perspective of the transaction, I feel like it went as smoothly as possible with them. Number 4 that I learned, it's actually somewhat difficult trying to figure out how the money transaction is going to go through. So from my previous experience in business and whatnot, when you're doing a relatively big transaction, I like to get it done, ASAP, as soon as possible. And that's because when you're doing a large transaction with complexity, lots of things can get hung up. Both parties or one party could get disinterested. Life things could happen, like someone could get pulled away for work or other things. And so it's been my experience that once you have some momentum to get the deal done, you try to finish it as quickly as possible. And so right when I established a deal with this book, I tried to pay. And so you want to utilize the kind of normal payment methods. And I was able to pay for PayPal for this particular book. I bought a different book, a large book. And so depending on whether or not they want to try to avoid paying the 3%, if you could pay with cash, that could save the vendor some money and potentially save you some money. So like I said, one of the deals that we looked at would be for me to fly there. We'd meet at a bank, I transfer the money, and they'd hand me the comic right there. So that's a little bit of a different deal. I mean, normally on a normal comic, you're not gonna fly there and pick up the comic, right? So that was a little bit of a different experience or just concept for me. But the other thing is Zillow, Venmo. Venmo, I was a new user, so I think I could only send $300 a day or something like that. And Zillow, I think, was $1,000 a day. So another route that I ended up going with this other book was I just got a cashier's check and overnighted it to them. And that ended up working as well too. So it just kind of depends on what you're trying to do, but sending large sums of money, wire is also possible, although that had some issues also. Number 5. So I remember when I had my first company, I signed this big contract, and I told my dad, we just signed this big contract, and he said, well, did you get paid yet? And I said, no, I mean, we have to do the work, and then they'll pay us. And he said, that's a long road. And he was right, and I always remember that, and I think myself and other people that have been and dealt with a lot of business, just because you have an agreement, verbal or in writing, really the whole transaction is finally when you get paid, or in this case, when I get the comic. And so that was the case here, where I paid, and then they sent, on accident, they sent me the Fantastic Four #1, which was shocking. And but it ended up working out. I was able to send FF1 to the guy who accidentally got my AF15, and he sent that one to me, and everything worked out, and everything was happy in the end. So yeah, I'm just really excited to share this with you guys. It's been a lifelong dream of mine to grab this comic. Happy to be able to do it. If you guys have any questions for me, definitely throw them down or contact me on IG. And I do have a Incredible Hulk #1 coming, so I'll share that with you. And I have I think an interesting haul of comics coming this week, so I'll share that. But I really appreciate all the support, and I'll talk to y'all soon.